The first thing he knew was warmth, soft, comforting warmth. He was snuggled between his mother and his sibling, a tiny ball of fluff with unseeing eyes. He wiggled closer, instinctively seeking his mother's warmth. He was hungry. He peeped, a tiny, insistent sound. His mother cooed softly and fed him, a milky substance that filled him with warmth and contentment. He slept. Days passed in a blur of warmth, hunger and sleep. His downy feathers started to be replaced by real feathers. His eyes opened, revealing a world of brown and white, the colors of his parents and their nest. He peeped again, this time louder, and his parents responded with soft coos and gentle nudges. It was time for him to grow. One day his parents hopped onto the edge of the nest. He tried to follow, his tiny legs wobbling. The ground seemed so far away. He stumbled and fell, chirping in fear. His mother cooed reassuringly from the edge of the nest. He tried again, flapping his tiny wings for balance. He was starting to understand the world was bigger than his nest. He watched as his parents soared through the air, their wings beating powerful strokes. He wanted to fly too. One day he gathered all his courage and jumped. For a moment he felt nothing but air beneath his wings. He flapped frantically, but he was falling. He landed with a thud on a pile of soft leaves. He was shaken but unhurt. He would try again tomorrow. He made friends with the other young pigeons in the park. They would chase each other, flapping their wings and practicing their landings. They would preen each other's feathers, learning the importance of keeping clean. He learned to identify the different calls of the other pigeons. He was starting to understand the language of his kind. One day, a group of older pigeons landed near them. They were bigger and stronger, their feathers sleek and shiny. The young pigeons watched in awe as the older ones strutted around, their chests puffed out. One of the older pigeons, a majestic bird with iridescent feathers, hopped closer. He was the leader of the flock. He looked at the young pigeons, his eyes sharp and intelligent. He cooed once, a deep, resonant sound. It was a sound of welcome. The park was their home, a green oasis in the heart of the city. He loved the feel of the grass beneath his feet, the shade of the trees on a hot day. But the city was never far away. He learned to navigate the busy streets, dodging cars and buses. He learned to scavenge for food, finding scraps dropped by humans. He learned to recognize the different sounds of the city, the roar of traffic, the sirens of emergency vehicles, the laughter of children playing. He observed the humans who shared his city. He saw their kindness, the way they would leave out seeds for the birds. He saw their cruelty, the way they would shoo him away from their food. He learned to be wary of the humans who carried brooms or wore uniforms, but he also learned that not all humans were the same. One day he was scavenging for food near a park bench when he saw a little girl. She was sitting alone, her head down. He hopped closer, drawn to her sounds. She looked up and saw him. He looked back at her, his head cocked to one side. She smiled. It was a small smile, but it was enough. He had made a connection. Section 4. Dangers and close calls. Life in the city was not without its dangers. He learned to avoid the sharp claws of cats, the snapping jaws of dogs. He learned to be wary of the shiny traps that humans sometimes left out. He saw other pigeons get caught, their wings clipped, their freedom taken away. He knew that he had to be careful. One day he was flying back to his roosting spot when he saw a flash of movement out of the corner of his eye. He turned his head just in time to see a hawk diving towards him. He swerved sharply, his heart pounding in his chest. The hawk missed him by inches. He flew as fast as he could, his wings beating furiously. He didn't stop until he reached the safety of the park. He learned to read the signs of danger, the sudden stillness of the air, the alarm calls of other birds. He learned to trust his instincts, to fly away at the first sign of trouble. He knew that survival depended on being alert, on being fast, on being smart. Section 5. Growing strong and independent. He was no longer the small, fluffy chick who had hatched in the nest. His feathers were now fully grown, a beautiful pattern of grey, white and iridescent green. He was strong and confident, able to fly for long distances without tiring. He had learned the ways of the city, the dangers and the rewards. He was ready to start his own family. He had watched the older pigeons courting, their elaborate dances, their soft coos. He had seen them building nests together, raising their young. He felt a stirring within himself, a longing for a mate, for a family of his own. He was ready to take his place in the cycle of life. He spent hours preening his feathers, making sure they were sleek and shiny. He practiced his mating dance, puffing out his chest and cooing softly. He searched for the perfect nesting spot, a safe and sheltered place. He was ready for love, for commitment, for the responsibilities of parenthood. Section 6. Ready for takeoff. 40 days had passed since he had hatched. 40 days of learning, of growing, of surviving. He had faced challenges and overcome them. He had made friends and learned from them. He had discovered the beauty and the danger of the city. He was no longer a chick, but a fully grown pigeon, ready to take on the world. He stood on the edge of the rooftop, the wind ruffling his feathers. He looked out at the city, a sprawling landscape of concrete and glass, of noise and movement. He felt a surge of excitement, a sense of limitless possibility. He took a deep breath, spread his wings, and launched himself into the air. He flew towards the horizon, towards the unknown. He was free,